Just when I finished throwing up into the rubbish bin, I started to think rationally and grew worried for Andy. What had I seen on the camera? Just an elaborate prank on the new guy? It seemed way too real. The blood, the screams, the entity itself. I needed to go to the entrance of the mall and see what was happening. Just then, my eyes fell on the cursed rule sheet again. My eyes fell on the very first rule. Do not exit the security room unless it is your time for your routine check. I fought an internal battle with myself. The rational part of me told me it was all just a prank. The instinctual and primitive part of me told me that something was seriously wrong here and I had to follow the rules for my own safety. The distinct ring of the desk interrupted my conflicting thoughts. I picked up the phone. Hey, listen man, this is Andy. I can see this figure in the distance, dude. Could you check on the car park cameras? I looked up at the car park cameras and saw nothing. Andy, are you okay? Oh shit. Shit! Richard, get out of here! I heard a loud growl and the scream of Andy before the call cut off. I started hyperventilating. Somehow, Camera 9 showed me the future and Andy was being eaten at the very moment. As if this was a prank, it was a sick and disgusting one. This had gotten too far. My gut feeling deep down told me just to follow the rules and come out of this mall alive. And so, for once in this entire week, I decided to listen to my gut instinct. I scanned the list of rules again and again until my watch let out a small beep. It was the hourly chant feature on my watch. I quickly realized I needed to do my first round of the mall. It was 12 a.m. I slowly opened the door of the security room, half expecting to get jumped by that same alien that ate Andy. I walked out of the dimly lit mall. The mall felt like a medieval castle at this point. Except medieval castles were made of mostly hallways and corridors. Here, the mall was just a vast open space. I'll try to give you guys a better description to really help you visualize the mall. Alright, let's get started from the entrance. You have an average sized parking lot at the front first. Walk through the parking lot and you will get to the front entrance, which is basically just a big glass double door that can be closed at night. Go inside and you will find yourself in I wouldn't call it a hallway because it's a pretty wide space. Continue walking through the hallway and you will get to the main square. The main square is basically a vast area. Shops lined on the edge of the main square, while the middle occupies with the big spiral staircase leading up to the second story. There are also old elevators that led to the second story. The lighting is terrible for a shopping mall, and most of the places are poorly lit. I guess if the shop lights were on the main square, would definitely be brighter. Otherwise, the square was drowned in shadows and darkness. It's a darkness which you can still see, but you may mistake something for another thing. It's the type of darkness that makes you feel like some monster is right behind you. It's the unnerving type of darkness. It's the type of darkness in your closet when you mistaken your coat for an unwelcoming home intruder. While you can still see the coat in the darkness, that darkness masks it. It makes it look like something else. That's the kind of darkness I'm talking about. Climb up the staircase and you will get to the second floor. The second floor is an exact replica of the main square, along with the same lighting issues. The middle, however, is cut out, so you can actually overlook most of the main square, along with the entrance if you lean over the edge. My security room is quite discreet. You have to go to the right of the second story, and you will find a discreet door in the corner leading to my security room via other flight of stairs. I can also access security room from the first floor though, the same flight of stairs. The roof of the mall is basically just an open glass canopy. I assumed the mall would look great during the day, but at night, it's a creepy place. I hope I haven't confused you too much with the description, and you got a somewhat clear picture in your head. Now imagine taking a stroll around this mall at 12 a.m. That's exactly what I'm doing. So, I walked out of the only place that I deem safe in the entire mall, the security room. As I stepped out into the barren mall, chills ran up my spine. I crossed my arms and hugged myself, thinking it was just cold. The air was cold and empty here. My eyes slowly adjusted to the new dimly lit conditions, and I started walking around the second story first, just staring into each store. I jumped at every shadow and sound. As I walked past one of the stores, I heard a loud crash. It made me jump back as my heart started to pound violently in my chest. My veins were full of adrenaline, and I swear I could have beat the world's fastest athletes then. I looked directly in the direction of the sound and noticed that some items had just fallen over. I sighed in relief and dismissed the incident when I thought suddenly blossomed in my already panic-streaked mind. Why did the items fall over just as I was near them? This is just a coincidence. Countless thrills and horror movies I had watched, and I suddenly thought a serial killer was out there, lurking to get me. It was worse than that. My ears picked up a faint crying sound from the store. I immediately looked over. A ghostly white, tall woman emerged from the rows. I was frozen in fear. She was extremely tall. Her eyes lacked out pupils and were a milky white color. She had a round mouth lined with blood-stained razor-sharp teeth. The rest of her face was pale and flawless. She didn't seem to have a nose. Her dirty black hair hung at either side, and she seemed to be wearing some sort of gown. Every single one of my muscles were frozen, and my heart nearly popped out of my chest in each beat. My vision swam. I tried to scream, but my voice caught up in my throat. Every single cell in my body screamed for me to run away, but my muscles were locked. The creepy woman pulled out a knife from her abdomen and started charging at me. That caused me to snap awake quickly. I ran so fast that my PE teacher would have shed tears of joy. I felt her putrid breath on my neck, but I didn't dare turn back. I ran into the security room and slammed the door shut. I locked it. Crimson blood ooze fell from the gap under the door slowly. I screamed and jumped right back. Suddenly, I heard the regular ring of the desk. I picked it up. "Hey, this is the police. We received an emergency call from this location." Yes. Please, come, I need help." Then the person on the other line said in the following in such a malicious and demonic voice that ran shivers down my spine.
"It isn't that easy to get out of here."
Suddenly, my ear felt wet. I pulled the receiver away to see that a thin, cold black hand had somehow come out of it. The hand looked like it had been severely burnt. It suddenly moved forward and extended further. Its sharp claws crawled at my ear. I lost a bit of my ear and felt like an intense stinging pain in the area. I threw the receiver away as my vision blurred with the tears in my eyes. The hand retreated back into the receiver when it bit my ear and took it. Suddenly, I heard the high-pitched beep again. Thank you for watching this video. If you like the content that I make on Thursdays, please like, share, and subscribe. And to that, I'll see you next time.